Hello everyone, this is Bernice from the Napping Mouse. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create these two journals here out of one file folder, and they are going to be using file folders that I no longer have, and I'll just do a quick flip through where you see different papers and papers that we've used before. So grab anything that you've got, your scrap paper, coloring book pages. That is what we are going to do, and we are going to actually use both part of the file folder to create two. Okay, and this is another one here, which I'll do a quick flip through. Thank you so much for joining me. Now grab your favorite drink and let's get crafting. Okay folks, so first thing I'm going to do is get my trimmer and get my folder here, and I am going to actually trim a little bit before the fold line here so that I won't get it on the very bottom. Okay, see what I did right there? And then over here I'm going to decide to remove this top part here as little as possible. I'm okay with that being like that. Just removing the tab. All right, now there we go. I'm fine with that. And now next thing, I'm going to save this for another journal that I'll make. So next thing I'll get is the scoreboard. Okay, and this one now is measuring 11 3/4 of an inch, okay, by 8.5 that way. So this will be the inside part. So I'm going to score it at, okay, got my bone folder here, and the first score line is going to be at 4.5, 5. I'm going to do it twice here because this paper here is pretty thick, and at 9.5. Okay. All right, that's it. Oh, keep your bone folder to burnish those score lines. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is fold inside, and before I burnish it, I just want to make sure that this here is nice and straight, and over here also is nice and straight. If I need to trim off a little bit towards the end, then I will go ahead and do so. But for now, we are just going to fold and burnish our score line. Okay, and then this one is going to be our secretary pocket. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is get your glue. I'm going to go ahead and use the art glitter glue here, and I'm only going to glue it from the fold line all the way towards the end. Okay, now if you want to do it to the top as well, you can, and that'll be your true pocket there. Put a little bit more glue on that one. Okay, but I'm going to do it just to this end right here. So then I'll go and I'll press it down. Okay, and then this is going to be the book itself. Okay, that's the cover itself. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put some, like a heavy book on top of it, and let that dry for a little bit before I go. Look at that, it's already trying to come out. I don't want that. Okay, so let's go put something heavy on top of that. In the meantime, we will work on our pages. Okay folks, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to get your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, that could be any kind of like junk or anything that you have on hand. Now this is actually resume paper, and I use this for when I had the brick and mortar store, but I recently found this and I saw that I had a lot of this here, and I really didn't want to throw the paper away. So once I put into the journal, I'll figure out how to cover this or do something with it, but I decided to go ahead and use this, and I really like the color. It matched the cover pretty well. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is get one of them. Okay, and then get your ruler, and you've got choices here. Well, go ahead first. first of all, at the 11-inch side, you're going to mark it with the pencil at 3 inches from the end. So that's 10, 9, 8. So mark it at 8 inches over here, okay? And you can do the same for the bottom. Now, if you prefer to fold it, go ahead and I just use it as a tick. You know, use the tip of my finger here, and I go ahead and I fold it that way, okay? And then I make sure that both ends are the same, and then I'll go ahead and burnish it. But if you don't want this, then you can just actually cut it out, okay? And once you get that part, then go ahead and take the left side, and you're going to fold it over to the right, matching the corners, the edge evenly, okay? And that would be your page. Now, here's just a thought. So the reason why I had you fold it is that if you have your page here and then you open it, you can flip it out this way. Okay, and it doesn't have to be to one side. So you can also flip it to the other side. So, whoop, 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 whoop. Maybe not. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you flip it this way here, and then you can have the fold out coming out that way. I suggest you do the fold. And if you change your mind, you can just rip it off, cut it off, whatever you want to do. But it does save paper, and it does give you extra space to write or decorate or put pockets in, or, you know, you can even glue some of this together and then create like a tuck spot, or not a tuck spot, a pocket in there, okay? Like so that, and then you could actually mark it here so you're not constantly measuring, but you can have one sheet using it as a template. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, mark them all like that. So we're gonna repeat that to all 10 sheets. So it's like, okay, let's stop hoarding it and let's do something with it. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to see your work as well. And I think I'm going to put it up on the screen. Hashtag _napping_mouse, so that you can put your design, your artwork in there, and I would love to see how it turns out. I also have a Facebook group too, so, and I'll have this here posted on my Facebook group, just like a little bite, you know, fans of the Napping Mouse. Okay, but I'll have the actual name of it for you. Okay, so here we go. So now we're going to put one signature inside the other. So this flap is here on the right side, and what you can do is flip it over and have it on the left side, so that when you have your signatures, you know, you're flipping it here, and then you're turning the page, and then the flap goes this way, okay, and then you're turning this page, and then the flap goes this way. So at least it's not going to bulk up on one end. It'll distribute itself. It'll be like an even balance, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not concerned about if this inner part is upside down, right side up, you know, because in the end I'm going to cover it. Oh, please recycle paper. I should have that in the very middle, just as a reminder. Hold on. That goes like that, and that would go here. But this would be for all 10 sheets, okay? So that is what you're going to do. Sale, and then, oh, but this would be upside down. How am I going to do that? I should just let it be. Okay, I'll let that be. Let's see, that is going to be only if I do this. Oh, hold on a sec, folks. Okay, so that's going to be upside down, but I'm just going to turn everything right side up, so that, please recycle paper. So that's a good note. Okay, that'll work. Okay, now you see how it bulks up. And this is the other option too, but you would not have any flaps though, because we're putting one sheet on inside another. The paper is going to come out, okay, because it bulks up on the spine area right there. So if that bothers you, then you're going to have to trim it off, okay? And you can trim it off to the very first sheet, up to the very first sheet carefully, okay? But before we put this in, we're going to add some more sheets to this. So let's get our scrap paper and put it all inside and see how that turns out. Okay, folks, so the next thing that we're going to do is grab our sheets, our extra stuff over here, okay? So the thing that's most important is that one of them is going to have to be like a template. Like, you just measure how much it is bottom and across, and that'll be your maximum that you could have. Okay, but so pretty much it's 4 inches by 8.5. Okay, so that's the max that you can do. And if you'd like to create like a template for, so for example, let me set all this aside. I will cut a template out 4 by 8.5, so that's 8.5 here, and let's go to 4. Okay, that will be the max. Okay, now you really don't have to worry so much at this point. The side part over here, we just basically want to make sure that we're within our length. So the top, yes, so the top and the bottom here. Okay, so that's 4 by 8.5 right there. Okay, so now let's see, we got this. Let's go get our junks here. Now I know this will both work well, and these are just Italian cards that I was given as a gift, so I want to put these in here, and you can put like envelopes in it as well to be a page. I've got a map here that I'm going to let's see, could I wanted to, well, I could put it like inside there, and then I could have it flip out as well, like this on the inside. So we'll do that. This one can be used too, but let me see. I really like this one. So what I'm going to do with this, let's put all of this aside. I'm getting a little too excited here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this like this. Now, I'll say this. There's a lot of people who create junk journals, and they go ahead and they fold it and they use it like this. So this, they'll cut over here, so this will be a pocket here, and this will be a pocket here, and this is going to be sewn onto the spine. Okay, but I'm personally not a fan of this gusset here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this over here, and you can just use the scissors, or if you want to be precise, get your trimmer. I'm just going to cut it like this. That'll be recycled. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that the gusset is open. I pretty much kind of like a flat pocket. Because if you want to do it one or the other, like have one open and have one not. If it still works on your page for you to have this done, like for example, oh, okay, I'm trying to think. Okay, so for example, you can still fold it and it'll still fit inside with it. That'll be fine. We can always trim over here. If you like this, then what you can do is probably fold over one side so it can close, and then fold it in half like this. Okay, I'll fix that up, and then put it in as a page. You can do that. Okay, so then this will be like a flap like that, and we can all fix that too. But see how it all fits nicely in there? And this is actually, this works more like a page than it does a pocket, so it does two things. Okay, we'll fix that later, but here's one. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, at least have like another 10, another 5, another 10, however many one you want. It really depends on the thickness of your signature, your first pages here, because if they're too thick, you know, you don't want it too bulky, or thin enough, then you can add some more. Okay, so where's my template? My template that would fit. Now I can do, oh, and this here is a an extreme dot to dot book that I cut up, so I'm going to put that in there also. So that will be in, and I'll have that flip out. Now I know that if I sew it in, you're not really going to be able to finish it, but you know, that's kind of like the beauty of it. So we'll see how that turns out. And then I've got this one here that is from I found this actually at the Goodwill bins, and this is the kids practicing their penmanship. So let's see, how many do I've got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll do 4 more. Now this one here was from a coloring book. It was Alice in Wonderland. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to get rid of anything. I don't want to cut it. I don't want to do anything like that. So what I'm going to do is actually make this into a pocket. So make sure my height is fine, and the most that I can do is actually up to this line over here, but I'm going to go a little bit higher just to be on the safe side. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pinch that, but I'm going to fold it up this way, okay, because I don't want to cover those soldiers here. So I'll do that, and then soldiers, what are them? What are they called? There we go. See, so that'll be perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing is, yes, I will sew this in, but then I'll glue this in later on, and I will create pockets in here while I have the page here. And this could just be a regular coloring page. Okay, so let's see. And then I also have this vellum, which I can do the same thing. So for example, I can fold it up this way and have pockets, or I can tear it and then maybe in the future use like belly bands for one of the pages here. Okay, now if I fold this in half, it's going to be 6 pages and it's going to be a little bit too long. But again, so I could either, oh well, this is what I'll do. I will tear this up. I'm going to use this as a belly band. Okay, or a pocket also, a separate pocket. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it here at the 4-inch mark. Okay, and then I'm not going to tear this up. Oh, is that even? I hope so. Okay, then I'll go ahead and fold this over, and that could be a flap or a pocket. So this actually could be in the middle page, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, where the recycle page is at. So I'll put that in the middle page, but we will still be able to create a pocket, and I'll show you how in a minute. So I've got 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and should I just stop it there? We're going to use this one. Let's use this one because I really like this paper. This one I actually found at a place called the Art Asylum in Houston. And they are it's a store that sells everything recycled. Okay, so instead of them throwing it away, they go ahead and sell just junk, really. And it's a pretty cool store, and I found these beautiful, beautiful handmade papers that I wanted to use. So again, let's do the same thing. That I'll go ahead and fold that in half. Okay, there's my, at least I got my tick mark there. Trying to match as much as possible. And then this one here, I can go ahead and fold it inside or outside. It doesn't really matter, okay? But let's go ahead and put it all. I'm just going to stick with 9. I was actually going to do 10, but I'm just going to stick with 9 for now. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to get all of these papers that you just cut set aside, okay? That's going to be on one side. And then you're going to get your... Okay, so now we're going to put the pages together. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to get all of your sheet papers that you had, the 8.5 by 11. That's going to be on one side. And then all of the ones that you just... folded and cut out and separated and everything, that's going to be on the other side, okay? And then all we're going to do is just start flipping pages, and we're going to put them inside. So if you want to put it like this, like for example, here's the envelope, and I'll go ahead and put that in. That's going to be there, and then I'll flip through a little bit, and then the card I can set aside. Then I'll put this guy in here. So I could put either the signature, I can tie it this way here, or I can tie it this way. Let's just do it this way here. Okay, and then I'll put that in here for now. But that's all I'm doing, is I'm just looking for pages and I'm just putting it in. Okay, now this one I said that I wanted to do like a flip out. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I will put it, actually I'll put it down here because I can actually create a pocket as well with that. Okay, this is the recycle page, so I know I wanted, did I want this one? Which one did I want? Was it this one with the pocket? Oh, no, no, no. It was the vellum. The vellum, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that one too. Okay, so that's going to stick out a lot. So we'll see. I'm going to have to refold this guy here. So let's refold it or cut it. You know what? Refold it. We're going to see. The thing about vellum as well is that once you fold it, it's the crease is there. Very visible afterwards, okay? But we'll go ahead and I will, you know what I'll do? I'll have this kind of sticking out a little bit like that, but we're going to be sewing it in this way. And then I'll show you what I'll do with that. And then let's go put, let's see, we'll flip through the pages because we don't want like empty spots. Oh, actually, let's just put this guy in. Beautiful. Okay, there. Let's see. Is there anything else? Okay, let's put this here. Okay. Oh, this would look really nice as being like one of the opening. So, for example, yeah, that would look nice. Let's see if I could do it. This would be the front opening. Yeah, I'll do it like that. And then I have two options with this one here. I can actually use it as a page, or I can actually continue using it as a card, and I'll just put it inside the envelope or one of the pockets that I'll be creating. But I'll go ahead and use it as a page. Okay. Let's see. Now, when you put them in, if they're a little bit shorter than the length of the page, just keep in mind that when you're going to sew, we'll be coming in about 1/4 of an inch from the top and 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. So just keep that in mind, that when you are sewing, to get at least 2 of the stitches. So meaning that I've got this half here, or the middle part that's going to be stitch, and now I've decided to put the top part that's going to be stitch, okay? And then did I want to put this? I sure do. I just don't know where. I know it's pretty thick. Okay, there we go. I found space, and I will make that work, even though it's going to be pretty chunky, people. Ooh, this one is going to be chunky. So if you don't like it too chunky, then go ahead and remove some of the papers, or since I've got all of this, I actually could remove half of the pages and make that other journal with the same paper. I don't know. What do you think I should do? That's going to be pretty thick. Let's see. Okay, let's see our page here. Oh, it's going to be a thick one. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to remove half. Five. Yes, that'll still give me enough room to put more stuff in there too. Won't be as chunky. And then this one here, I can create it with the other one. So let's see, I've got one, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay, so I've got 5 of that and 5 of that. So this is going to go into the second half of this one. So I will prep that outside of this. Okay, so I'll do that right there. And then this one here will go in there. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to set all of our pages, our signature aside, okay? If you want to put it under a heavy book so it could stay nice and flat because it's pretty bulky, that's a good idea as well as we're waiting. Or you can do it overnight too because it's going to be pretty flat like that, okay? So I'll go ahead and set this aside, and then the next thing that we're going to do is make holes here and put our eyelets in there. Okay, folks, so the next thing that we're going to do is put our eyelets in. I'm going to make the hole and put our eyelets. You'll go ahead and get that template that we cut up to make our signature. And then also get a crocodile or some kind of awl. We're going to use this to make the holes, and we're going to put the eyelets. Now, if you don't have this, you don't need to get it. Just use like an awl and make a hole over there, and then just be very, very careful with that not to destroy anything. or hurt yourself with that, but that'll be just fine, okay? If you do that though, if you're going to make the hole, then I would go by the outside if you're going to do the awl. Because if you, like, let's say for example this is an awl, you're going to put your hole in, it's not going to cut the circle out, it is just going to pierce the paper through. So then you will see extras of the paper here. Well, when we're sewing it in, the signature is going to cover it, so that's not a big deal. But from the outside, you will see it if you do poke the hole from the inside, okay? So the next thing that I'm going to do is take this here and we're going to fold this in half. Let's set that aside. We'll fold this in half. Okay. That would be the half right there. And then we'll go ahead and fold this paper in half this way. So from the length like this, we're going to fold it from left to right, and then from bottom to top or top to bottom, however you want to do it. All you're doing is actually, I just pinch the side. I don't use the whole thing. I just pinch it so I can get the middle of this. Okay, and then also if you want to, we're going to measure 1/4 of an inch on each side over there. And so let's say 1/4 of an inch, that's half. 1/4 of an inch may be too small, so maybe I'll go ahead and do 1/2 of an inch. So I'll measure 1/2 of an inch and I'll mark that, okay? I preferably like to bend it, okay, just so I have that there, and then I just match it up. Now, if you prefer to use the ruler just to make sure that it's exact, that's perfectly okay as well. I'm just kind of pinching the edge over there, okay? Now I have my 3 spots there. So there's the one there, there's the other one there, and there's the other one there, okay? And actually what I should have done is marked it on the other side, because this side has writing on it, so you may not see it. So there's the middle there, okay, and then there's the middle here, okay? So what we're going to do is match it to the end here, and then you can just like pretty much find the middle there. Now if you wanted to measure it, this is, I think, 1/2 an inch that we did it, so it would be 1/4 of an inch inward. So if you wanted to go ahead and measure it that way, and that's fine also. I do it this way only because I'm going to use this again for my signatures, this template here, okay? So I just kind of eyeball it where the middle would be, okay? And hey, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but this is such a small piece that I don't think it's going to show much of a difference, okay? So there we go. But if you are being meticulous about it, then go ahead and measure the middle here from the top, middle, and bottom, and then just draw like a nice light line like this, okay? And then you know that you're in the middle, okay? All right, there we go. Now we are going to make our holes. So I am using the crocodile, and I'm going to do the 3/16 hole. Okay, so first we will make our hole. Actually, I'm going to go get the big bite instead, because I can do the hole here from the top and the bottom, no problem. But it's not going to fit here. So I have 2 options. I can use either the crocodile, which I do have, the big bite, okay? There you go, making a hole there. Or I can just get an awl or some sharp tool and then poke it from the outside. That's another option, okay? Just don't, make sure that the your pressure is not gonna make the hole a little bit too big, okay? So let's go ahead and do that one here first. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down, okay? And so now you want to go and switch it over to A1. That's for the 3/16. And then this little guy, this little pin here, is gonna go on the inside of that, okay? And that is your A. And then squeeze it. Okay, you see how that pretty much went all the way around. A1 is for the 3/16. Okay, now I'm going to carefully put this underneath, pinch it down. Oh, finally. There we go. Okay, it's not as like perfect that I want it to be, but but it is close enough. And once I sew it in, it is going to camouflage, erase all that part, okay? So let's do this guy here now. Okay, folks, so I went ahead and I put it in, and actually this is the best I can do. The third one is actually the best that I did. And yes, it kind of like, you can use a hammer to hammer it down, but that was the best right there. This one, I tried too many times and it just didn't, the hole was just getting bigger and bigger. So what I did was cut a smaller piece from the tab that I cut off the last time, glued it down here, and I was able to do this. Okay, so I really like the way that turned out. But yeah, it does look a little grungy, I do admit. But let's see. Let's continue, and then let's go ahead and put the holes onto the pages. Now, the pages, what you want to do is make sure they're all together, and that at least for the length that they're all on the same the sizing, you know, because we're going to make holes now in this guy here. And then go ahead and flip it through if you'd like to see if everything is right side up. Okay, and it's to your liking. So if it is, then we'll go ahead and get the middle. And what I'm going to do is get 2 clips here, and I'm going to clip them down to hold them in place. Okay, this is going to be laid flat because we're going to put it through the crocodile, not the yes, the big bite crocodile, but I just want to make sure that the pages is not moving too much. Okay, again, I'm going to take this and I am going to mark where I want the holes to go. So I'm going to put a circle there, and then a circle right there, and then a circle right there. Now, quite honestly, because of the length of this, I prefer to use my big bite. Okay. So I'm going to take my big bite and I'm going to put holes in that one. You can use it all again for this, okay? Now, I prefer to use the big bite because the big bite is actually going to make the bigger holes, which is going to be easier to sew the signature in, and I'll show you when we get that. But all I'm going to do is make sure that I'm at the 3/16 mark over here, and then I'm going to eyeball it again. It does come with the ruler attached to it, but I basically eyeball it. When I cut the hole, I just make sure that I'm in the middle of the 2 fold lines, just so it could be nice and even. And when I sew it, it will should be all even. Okay, all right, so there we go. There's my 3 holes right there. And now don't take the clip off. You're gonna leave that clip on until you're actually done sewing the signature in. And clear out the table here, and I put my ruler away. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is you want to get your twine. If you're using twine, you can use crochet yarn or a really thin yarn, but yeah, this will work well. And you'll need some kind of like embroidery needle. Okay, so let me show you. The one that I'm using is actually from Boy. It's called the yarn needle, and because I prefer to use a yarn needle when I do sew signatures in, because it is very blunt on the pointy side, and also the eye of the needle is pretty wide, so I can go ahead and put that through. Now, as a trick, I like to get a piece of tape like this, and then I'll go ahead and I will tape the end and then just twist it around until I got it pretty much kind of like this here. If I need to trim it like that, I'll trim it at an angle, so long as I can get this through the eye of the needle. Okay, so then I'll get the needle, okay, and then I'll go ahead and put that through. This guarantees me pretty much, this will guarantee me that I'll have it through. Then I take this off and I'll throw that away. Even though I do have a lot of twine. Okay, so next what I'll do is I'll get my signatures, and I will get this here, my cover, and I will just match it up. Now, sometimes it is easier to clip it also to the cover, okay, so that the cover stays still and the signature stay still. And you just want to make sure that everything is right side up. It's all going in the same direction, okay? So I'm going to clip the whole thing together, making sure that the middle here is pretty much matched, okay? And then I'm going to start from the inside, and I'll start from the middle. So you can go through the middle like this, okay? And then go up from the outside to the inside. And I usually look through here, okay? And then you're going to skip the middle, okay? Don't put that in. You're going to go to the very bottom, okay? And then run it through like this, okay? Whoops. We need some more yarn to go through. Go ahead and just pull it, okay? And now we are going to go from the outside back to the middle, but make sure you do not split the yarn, okay? Or your your twine. So what I like to do is I'll take this here that's on the inside and I'll pull it as taut as I can, and I'll kind of move it with my finger right there, all of the twine out of the way, and I will just make sure that it does not go through this here, because if I have to adjust it, it's going to be very difficult to adjust. You almost have to start over again, okay? So then one of the yarn or the twine is going to be on one side and the other one is going to be on the other side. And so now I'm able to take this off. Okay, now the other thing is that now that this is connected, you can take the clip off, but what I like to do is on one of the ends, I'll go ahead and I will tie a knot, because I just don't want it to continue fraying. And I personally like a long twine here, the ends to be like a little long, okay? I could put beads, I could put little paper decoration like little butterflies or even little circles or whatever. I can do stuff like that. I'm going to clip one of this together because I'm going to shorten this out now, okay? So I'll shorten this, got that to be as short as I want. So now you take both ends like this and you pull it gently, making sure that this is pretty taut here on this side and this side. Okay, and now we are going to tie it twice into a knot so it stays, okay? There we go. And then we'll do it one more time. Okay, I can cut this off. I can see how much I want. Now, some people like to have their little strings dangling because they put a charm at the very bottom like that, or even they'll put one on the very top where it could be like, I guess, no, you can't use it as a bookmark. Never mind. Like that. I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter, and I'm going to tie the ends. I'm going to put a knot at the very end, okay? And then... but we are not done yet. It looks like we're done, but we are not. Okay, there we go. I love that. Now we're going to work our spine in all those pages and just kind of train it to fold one way and the other. Okay. There we go. Oh, look at that. It is just coming along. It is coming along. So that is how this looks like for now. Remove all this. So there is your notebook here, okay? And we can add like a side tick over here to put pockets in here. Here's one of the pages that is a flip out, is more decorative. You can use that, or you can flip it over like this. That'll look nice as well. And then, oh, look how pretty that would look too. This flips out. This could be like a writing space, or you can actually make this into a pocket. Another thing, I'll show you really quickly how I was thinking of making this into a pocket. Even though this part is going to show, let me see if I can get another better one. A better example to make it into a pocket. Okay, I'll use this one here. So I want to make this into a pocket. So all I do is the same thing that we did with the secretary pocket in the very back, is that we're just going to add glue here to the sides, and then that'll be our pocket. Okay. And then again, it could be a secretary pocket, or it could be a pocket, like a little little small pocket like this, okay? And then again, if you don't like having the flaps at all, that's fine. Just go ahead and tear it out, cut it out, whatever you want to do with it. But let's go back to our flip through. So that's the first page, the second page with the flip through. Okay, we've got this flap over here and this beautiful flap over here. Then we've got this other page here. Okay, and then that's that, which I could do something to cover. And I've got a page here for decoration or for writing. Another writing page over here, and just like a little something, you know, maybe you can change it up or actually work on it. So this can be covered with some kind of trim or decoration, so I'm good with that. But I've got this here, and then I've got this. But oh, and this is the pocket that we just made, and here's our coloring page here. And let's go ahead and put glue onto the side and make this a pocket. This is your choice too. If you wanted to make like a little round notch here to indicate that it's a pocket, you can do that. Another way of indicating that it's a pocket, it's like it's too late, like I already glued it down and I can't, you know, make it into a pocket. So you could put like some kind of trim. For example, I can use this tape over here and I can go like this, okay? And that would pretty much indicate it that it's a pocket. And that actually looks really good like that. Keep in mind that when you do your pockets like this, if you pinch it in, like I didn't pinch it in all the way like that, okay? I didn't glue it all the way to the edge, but if you do, it gives more space inside the pocket. So it's not going to be as tight, and essentially it'll give you more room. If you do want more room, another thing that you could do is get some kind of paper and fold it in half like this. Okay, and then you could, this will be like a notch, so you'll put glue on this side and glue it to the page like that, and then put glue on this side and then close it like that. So you'll have like a little notch on the inside, which opens up a little bit more, okay? There we go. Oh, and there's our flip through. All right, and that was upside down, but that is not a big deal. You can try stapling it together as well, but depending on the thickness and if you have the stapler, if it's thick enough to go through all of the paper, you know, it really does depend on how much you have. Let's see, look. And then you can actually, I mean, I can use this as a pocket, or I can actually try to open this up because I think this paper is through the whole thing. Oh, look at that. I could show everything. Okay, well, anyways, I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, here I go. And then I've got my secretary pocket like that. Okay, so that's this. I'm going to actually work on my other one so we can have both of them and see how they both turned out. And there you have it, folks. These are the two that we were able to create. We were able to create two notebooks that we're going to have fun with, okay? And in my Instagram, I will show you how to fill it up, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.